They have by far the highest ceiling out of any team in the league. Elite talent, NBA shot making, versatility, and the best coach in the league in John Shire. They can beat you in multiple ways. Half court, full court, running gun, walk it up. And they out-execute you, maybe except for that game versus Texas Tech.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
When did we become, so bitter that we can't accept another man's apology? We make mistakes all the time. And as a grown man, you have to say, I'm sorry every once in a while. And it's okay to say that. And the apology, I think, should be accepted. And in this case, I'm accepting it.
The Craig Carden Show, only on SportsGrid.
The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League are now official partners with Kalshi. It takes effect this week. Each side can use the other's intellectual property for co-marketing purposes, and Kalshi will be promoted during home games at the United Center and on Blackhawks broadcasts. First of its kind, certainly probably not the last as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Arvel Reese at 8%. I got to tell you right now, I have no idea who that is or if they're playing a joke on me, Joe.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting
Who is that?
here, but I have no idea.
You need to know?
But no idea. But don't you have to pick the Heisman winner, Don? Isn't that like the rule of thumb if you're going to take a quarterback? Is he not the best quarterback?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Time decisions live on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with you here live from the decisions desk as we get set for the college football playoff semifinal. First matchup tonight between Ole Miss and Miami. The higher-seeded Canes, a field goal favorite in this football game. Some 3.5s still available in the market. Your total for this one is on the way up. 51.5s, those are long gone. How about 52.5? How about 53? How about 53.5? A high-scoring affair could be in order. We will break this game down all the way up until kickoff. We will still have you covered for the other options that are out there on this Thursday night. NBA, college basketball. If you want some ice, we'll figure it all out. Best bets from our team. But it is the college football playoff. It is a semifinal game, and we just didn't think it would be right to not have Joe Lisi live and in studio for the matchup. Joey, man, how are you?
I felt like I was at an auction. 51.5, do I hear 52, 52.5, 53? Can we get this up to 55.5? Oh, baby. Are we going to have points aplenty tonight? Because I don't know if Miami's built for that type of matchup with Trinidad Chambliss. I'm just saying, Carson Beck, a little inconsistent in the passing attack in back-to-back games in the playoff. A $135 against Ohio State. Now, granted, defense took over, and 103 against Texas A&M. He's going to need a better effort than that tonight to potentially move on to a national championship game.
Trinidad Chambliss, by the way, you could argue he would have been he could have very well won the Heisman Trophy if he was the starting quarterback. What's wrong with you right now? What I miss? All right? You okay?
Listen, we've been doing the show a long time.
Yeah.
And there's, I want to say, Lisi-isms that we have, right? And there's also Kevinisms, K. Walsh.
Chambliss? What's his name?
I don't know. I know DeMeco Ryans and...
Yeah, what's his... Go ahead.
Chambliss. Chambliss, right.
Okay.
They're killing me in the back. I can't... He's laughing like a hyena back there.
Right.
I can't... It's good to be back in the mix.
You don't usually get Lisi past 5 o'clock here.
No. What are you trying to say? I'm good at like Perkins 55 plus?
No, I'm saying that you're already usually settled in, bottle of wine, just,
not
kind of
at 5 o'clock.
letting your hair down a little bit.
I tell you, the mane needs a cut. The mane
needs a cut.
It needs a cut. I'm a little.
When is the last time you got one?
A week ago.
All right, so you know
but
what?
They
You're really
shaved
up
the
against
sides.
it.
They did a nice fade up on the sides. Shout out to Javier.
Wait, what's that? Hold on. Yep. Hey, guys. Talk about the game, not Lisi's haircut. No, you got it. All right, cool. Great. I mean, we're 5 minutes into the show. You're breaking down your haircut.
So what?
So
they missed me.
Yeah, you're right. They did. Maybe who knows? Maybe we'll settle you in. Maybe this will be your new home.
Well,
Game Time Decisions. Can we sign you up for that?
I don't know. We would have to have major discussions on that. Major discussions. I will say I'm in bed with you right here for the next 2 days.
Yeah, we will have Joe both here today and tomorrow for tomorrow's matchup between Oregon and Indiana. We are going to fully expand on this matchup, the numbers, the props, everything in between. But like I said, we will also still run through the regular gamut and the options that are out there on this Thursday night. If you're looking to bet into the NBA slate here, best game looks to be Wolves-Cavs. That's in Minnesota, a 2.5-point line with Ant Edwards against Spider Mitchell. As far as the college basketball board goes, more Big Ten action. Illinois playing the local boys in Rutgers. You do get Gonzaga against Santa Clara in a WCC game with a 16.5-point spread favoring the Zags. And as far as the NHL slate goes, it is plentiful here on a Thursday. Avs get back home looking to snap a minor losing streak as better than minus 250 favorites against Ottawa. So, Joe, we'll be heavily focused on the college football, but you've been known to dabble in a few other sports, so we'll keep our eyes on what is out there for the people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if I see something NBA-wise, you bring up Ant Edwards. Hasn't made my card all year.
Really?
Well, it's an early year so far, but
True.
I have been keying in on some college basketball. I'm just looking right now, looking at the slate. Northwestern, Mich State, interesting. Mich State played in Nebraska, close to the vest. Northwestern, always a gutty road team. I'm just saying.
Looks like 13 to you.
13.5. Rutgers, now we can't bet Rutgers. Illinois, though, 22.5, huh?
Yeah.
This Gonzaga game, 16.5 has my eye. Bailout special.
Really? All right.
I like Santa Clara.
Okay, so something we'll keep our eye on. Your usual, one of my favorite bits of NBA analysis from you is how you assess Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's usage in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I had Jalen Williams last night over points, rebounds, and assists, primarily because I thought Shai wasn't going to even play in the game. Shai played. It went to overtime. He took 26 shots, 19 free throws, scored 46. J-Dub
great
missed
job.
by 2.
Nobody else is out there. Who's a bigger pig when it comes to just taking shots? Donovan Mitchell or hey, Donovan put in 50, took 80 shots. That's great. He shot 16% from the field. Fantastic.
We will also talk some major NFL headlines, including our 8th firing of the cycle. Say it ain't so. The Miami Dolphins moving on from Mike McDaniel. Lisi, stunned by this move?
It was stunned that it happened so late. He should have been the first head coach fired when they were 1-6. He should have been. I know you talked him up. You think he's a guru. You think he's the best offensive coordinator. Vape boy, here he comes. I tell you what, gutless. They should have did it sooner, but I believe they're going to be all in on John Harbaugh. Remember that report that I showed you?
Yeah.
It was about, a week ago that we read it, where if Stefanski and they were talking about that rumbling going, where if Stefanski got left go, they would be potentially a fit for Miami. Now with Harbaugh, I think Gross and ownership just said he's the best guy for potentially the job. I mean, I think he's going to go to the Giants, but it is intriguing when you think about it. To go to Miami would be I would love to have him.
Well, good news, you're not getting him. No chance John Harbaugh takes the job in Miami.
Why not?
Not a good job. Not a good job. You're going to have an all-time record-setting dead cap hit with the Tua Tagovailoa situation, and right there alone informs you as to why the Mike McDaniel situation is puzzling. When you're going to take that type of hit to move off of the quarterback,
right?
Well, it lets me know who the main problem in the room is. It's
coach.
Tua Tagovailoa.
No, it's not.
Everybody knows it's Tua.
No, they brought in McDaniel.
So Harbaugh plus Tua next year, and you feel good about Miami?
No.
Oh, why not?
No. Harbaugh is at least a coach that will get the kids and the guys ready to play. I'll tell you what, I'll take Kingsbury. Give me anybody you want. Anybody but Mike McDaniel.
With Tua.
With anybody.
No, with Tua.
No, with Quinn Ewers.
No, with
I don't
Tua.
care. I don't want Tua.
No, you got
No,
Tua.
I don't want Tua.
No, you tell
Brian
no.
Flores was right. Tua.
Yeah, they've lost multiple good coaches in Miami because of Tua. They keep compounding the mistake.
Well, McDaniel was brought in because he was a player's guy. And because Flores rubbed too many guys the wrong way, that they didn't want to fight and they didn't want to, they didn't want to be criticized about their play on the field. And that's why Flores now is the DC in Minnesota. McDaniel was a rah-rah guy and brought in to coach up Tua, and he got one good year out of him, and he couldn't win a playoff game. And that's the main reason why he's now out of a job. He'll get an OC job. That's great. But he's not built to be a head coach.
He had Tua in a playoff game once. Another time he was in a playoff game where Tua wasn't there. We'll get more into that, but we dive into the matchup tonight. Canes Rebs. Who do you like here in a college football playoff semifinal? We'll break it down next.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
They have one more win than Chicago, and they literally beat Chicago in Week 17, and yet the Niners are on the road and the Bears are at home. Why? Because of an outdated rule that says, well, winning your division is the holy grail. Rewarding an 8-win division winner with a home playoff game is like giving the corner office to the guy who won the office fantasy pool instead of the guy who actually closed the accounts all year.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box. But I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope. And I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh with Joe Lisi live and in studio for coverage of Miami and Ole Miss. Your in-game live crew will have you covered all the way up here. We're handling the pregame business here for a matchup between two teams, Joe, that needed to both pull off upsets in order to crash into the college football playoff semifinal. Who are you more impressed by? Miami's victory over Ohio State or Ole Miss's victory over Georgia?
Ole Miss over Georgia. And again, the reason why I say that is because no Lane Kiffin on the sidelines for the rematch. the fact that it was a rematch and Georgia and Kirby Smart got abused in the first half of that matchup. First 5 possessions in Athens, Ole Miss scored. It wasn't until they made second-half adjustments that they pulled away. I thought with 3 weeks of preparation for Kirby and that defense to prepare for Trinidad Chambliss and that team, they would be ready, and they were ready for a half. They built a 21-12 first-half lead, but I put part of it on Mike Bovo, the offensive coordinator, trying to force the square peg into the round hole. He wanted to run it early in the second half instead of utilizing play action the way he did with Gunnar Stockton early in the game to open up the run. But I was very impressed with the Ole Miss win. The way they battled back, they were down 9 points at half. They could have quit. They rallied. Trinidad Chambliss, the third down conversions where he was dead to rights, deep in his territory to make those plays and just throw frozen ropes. I mean, this team is playing with house money now, and it's not to take away from Miami. The 2 dominant defensive efforts that they put with Texas A&M and Ohio State, I'm not going to discount. The problem that I have is with the offense now has to show it. I've seen now 2 complete games out of Ole Miss. Their defense made adjustments when they had to, and I was more impressed with the Ole Miss win in Atlanta the other night.
I totally agree, and I think a lot of it has to probably do with my assessment of their opponents. Simply, when we talk about the best coaches in college football, I know everybody believes Kirk Cignetti is the best. Let's win a national championship, and then maybe I'll feel a little bit more comfortable. If we can be patient, it's probably Kirby Smart.
Right.
So for Ole Miss to lose Lane Kiffin, right, have all of this coaching staff questions, and beat Kirby Smart, an SEC team that you've already played this year in comeback fashion, as you mentioned, Joe, where adjustments were obviously made, I just thought that was so impressive. It just didn't feel like a real path for this team to actually find that success. And Kirby made mistakes in that game.
No, he did.
And 100%, I thought Ole Miss really did impress with that victory. I'm not saying Miami didn't. I'm not. But Ohio State, come on now. Let's be honest. Ryan Day last year in winning a national championship did not cement himself as one of the country's best. He saved his job. Ryan Day taking over play calling duties in the lead up to this game that he didn't have all season long or last season. A swing and a ginormous miss.
Yeah.
Shutout at half, a pick 6 that, by the way, is on the play caller as much as the quarterback. It was a designed pick 6, if you will, right? It wasn't a down-the-field miss. It was a screen pass that was read like a book by the defensive back for the Canes. A missed field goal that was a field goal that came on a 4th and 2, down 14-0 on Miami's 31. What was the decision to kick the field goal there? So I look at the game, and again, I'm not saying Miami doesn't deserve absolute credit, but I think, Joe, Ohio State was discussed as, they could very well still be the best team in the country, class of their own. No, that's not who Ohio State was. Ohio State was a very good team. They were not anywhere near as good as last year's unit. We learned that.
No, I think a twofold, and I'll agree with you. Julian saying never played with a deficit to start the year, never was challenged in a big game throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
You know, Penn State obviously was firing Franklin at that time. They didn't have any big games outside the Michigan game, and they trailed early and then just jumped up, in that matchup and never looked back. So when you saw Julian Sayin struggle a little bit against Indiana, you said, at least I did, said, you know what, the best team in this whole tournament, I believe, was Georgia. Veteran quarterback that had played in a semifinal playoff game before. Granted, he lost it to Notre Dame, but with a year under his belt with Kirby, with the weeks of preparation, the way the defense had played, and not just shutting down, Georgia Tech, but they dominated Ty Simpson. They dominated Texas and held Arch to 10 points. That defense, the way they were playing at the end of the year, was as good as anything. Now, you could say the 3-week layoff hurt them, but at the end of the day, Ole Miss put up 39 points on them. That was more impressive. Again, we're going to see how this game plays out because styles make fights. If Miami can run the football, I think they win it. This is the worst statistical defense that we've seen in the college football playoff, and Ole Miss allowing 146 rushing yards per game. They are by far the worst out of all 12 teams that came into the playoff. We'll see. They did a great job in containing Nate Frazier in the rushing attack last week. This is a different animal, but again, if they can run it, Carson Beck could just be that game manager. They have to put the pressure. It's imperative for Ole Miss to jump up early and force Carson Beck to play from behind.
The interesting thing, though, Joe, is because the thing is the Ole Miss pass defense is not bad.
No. It's great, but statistically in the front seven, they are by far the worst.
The rush defense is not good. I don't find that to be super scary because in a world where Ole Miss does jump up, it's like, don't worry, we're going to just keep sticking with the run. And that may not work, but in a world where even if Miami's having success on the ground, it can be difficult to pull away. And
yes.
Listen, man, if you like Miami, you just, what people ought to do is they put the blindfold on and they just say what they want to hear. Tight game, Carson Beck, Mario Cristobal. You tell me who's going to feel comfortable. I don't think the answer is the Miami Hurricanes and that group. Let's talk more about the coaches and quarterbacks in this game. Who's here? And, of course, with any Ole Miss playoff game, who is not here? We'll break that down next with you. It's Game Time Decisions right here on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
They have one more win than Chicago, and they literally beat Chicago in Week 17, and yet the Niners are on the road and the Bears are at home. Why? Because of an outdated rule that says, well, winning your division is the holy grail. Rewarding an 8-win division winner with a home playoff game is like giving the corner office to the guy who won the office fantasy pool instead of the guy who actually closed the accounts all year.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Luke, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
It's going to open up Pandora's box, but I will say this. I do believe players that sign now, like Najee, should not be eligible now, but should have to sit out and come back in next year. It's just a slippery slope, and I agree with people like Tom Izzo. I don't like it at all.
College basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions. We are live on SportsGrid. It's Kevin Walsh and Joe Lisi. Joe, as I look into this football game and kind of look at the matchups here and the setup for these football teams, I actually think the wrong team is favored tonight.
Do you?
Unless I am not appropriately accounting for all of the coaching questions that come with this Ole Miss team. And these coaching questions that now have spilled even more since Lane Kiffin has called guys back to Baton Rouge. I think Ole Miss is the better team. I think they have a much better offense, and I know they do not have as good of a defense. But if you want to challenge Miami defensively, you're better off doing it through the air. And I think Chambliss has been incredible. And if Miami is going to have success offensively, it's either Beck takes advantage. I'm not as sure he's going to do that without turning it over, or they just run the ball 40 times. I just don't find that as scary coming from. I don't think Mark Fletcher is one of the most elite running backs in college football. But maybe I'm not appropriately accounting for the coaching stuff. So I ask you, how do you feel about this Ole Miss team relative to the fact that their head coach for most of this season and some of these assistants are in Baton Rouge?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I think 2 assistants are gone. I think Joe Cox, one is the tight end coach. He's gone. And I think one of the running backs coaches are gone as well. So Charlie Weiss and all the important pieces are there. That's what matters right now. You know, positional coaches, it matters to a certain degree, but certainly not in this matchup. They're all accounted for. They have, obviously, grad assistants and everyone else that could take over. The biggest thing for me, I think, when you look at this game is perception. And obviously, the U is back, right? Mario Cristobal, are we all of a sudden saying ACC is better than the SEC? Let's look at it deeper. Well, they beat Texas A&M for the most part. That was the best team for a majority of the regular season, right? Majority of the regular season in the conference. Final month of the season, they fell apart offensively and defensively with losses down the stretch. Obviously, the Texas really exposed them to a certain capacity, but the win over South Carolina did as well. And then they beat Ohio State. Perception was, even though Ohio State lost the Big Ten championship, they were the best team in the Big Ten. So I ask you, were they in fact the best team in the Big Ten? Because the best team in the Big Ten won the Big Ten championship. They're playing tomorrow night against Oregon. And in fact, the best team in the SEC was in fact Georgia, that Ole Miss just dominated in the second half. So for me, when I look at this matchup, yeah, I think on paper you want to give the aura to Miami. It looks better. But I certainly don't believe that the ACC is better, or the conference, or Miami is playing better than Ole Miss right now. They're playing better defensively, maybe, but I think also a part of that was the ineptitude of both Julian Sayin and Marcel Reed, both quarterbacks that got a little bit exposed down the stretch. I really think that that's the case. And I think this quarterback happens to be hitting on all cylinders. And if they do get the victory tonight, then I would be impressed. I'm sorry. But if they can contain Ole Miss to 20 points, that's a dominant effort. Easier said than done. I think Ole Miss exposes them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's an interesting, point to mention. LA&M kind of look like maybe, they would be the best team in the SEC.
But in fact, the best team was Georgia.
And the fact of the matter was A&M wasn't close to the best team in the SEC.
Right. They went throughout the regular season without playing teams like Bama.
By far and away, the best team in the SEC that they played was Texas.
Right.
They were soundly beaten that football game. It's not even a debate. They were soundly beaten that football game. And people won't like this. I really don't care. I watched them play against Notre Dame. They were not as good as Notre Dame whatsoever. Notre Dame missed an extra point, and then an egregious missing hold call on a play where Marcel Reed threw a luck box touchdown on a 4th and 18, and they won the game by 1. And they won the game, and good for them. I don't care. A&M was never as good as Notre Dame. Then again, I also think there's like 2 teams as good as Notre Dame in all college football. We don't have to reopen that whole sore again. Again, I just think for me, Joe, the questions I was curious about with Ole Miss, just kind of, motivation isn't the right word, but it's the best word I have available with everything that happened. And I don't think it's a mistake to now say that they've used it as a rally cry. That this team, they didn't have to beat Tulane that bad. That was as uncompetitive of a football game as you could possibly watch. It looked like if their goal was to score 100, they could have got close to scoring 100 in that game. 100, Ole Miss. So... And then again, to beat Georgia, who was playing the best football of any team outside of Indiana in the country, it spoke volumes, I think, to Ole Miss. So I don't think you're wrong to, again, Ole Miss is a higher seeded team, right? They do own the better resume when we talk about it. More CFP semifinal breakdown on SportsGrid. K-Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not going to happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brown to do his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Joe Lisi, now joined, rightfully so, on the night of a massive game in the college football playoff semifinals is Coach Terry Bowden. Coach, it is always great to talk to you. It is especially great when we have a game of this magnitude.
Well, we've been waiting all year for tonight and tomorrow night, and this one's going to be a great one. I tell you, 3.5 point, 3-point spread, and it's going to be a doozy. Looking forward to it. And there are a couple of factors with both teams that could decide this game. I mean, if you think you know what's going to happen, you're guessing. But there's a couple of big factors. Quarterback for Ole Miss, the biggest factor in this football game.
So then talk to me a little bit about that, Coach. What are you looking at from not only Ole Miss's quarterback, but their offense in this game against the Miami defense, certainly playing great football right now?
Well, I mean, even the whole season, you look at them, 12 out of 14 games, they've scored over 30 points. Against the best defenses in this conference in the SEC, we're talking twice against Georgia, once against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma is second in the nation in sacks. They scored 35-39 versus Georgia. They scored 34 versus Oklahoma. They handle pressure very well. Now, they're going to get the hottest team defensively in the playoffs right now and the best pass rushing team. But the guy that has handled it over and over again has been Trinidad Chambliss, because that's going to be the factor. Can he show poise? Can he be relaxed? Can he beat that pressure like he has done all year with poise, relaxed, making big plays?
Coach, let's look at the other quarterback, Carson Beck.
Yeah.
He does have the big game experience transferring in from Georgia, does have 2 critical wins under his belt, but hasn't really looked all that great in the passing attack. What do you expect out of his performance? And if Miami needs to throw the football, can they?
Yeah, I think they can. I think he's got to play clean. I mean, they don't depend on him to be dynamic like the other team does. And so he just got to make sure he doesn't turn the ball over. He distributes the ball properly. He takes the scramble when he has to, but he's not going to go out there and run around the field and dazzle the Ole Miss defense. And he has done that most of the time. But when he is bad, he can be real bad. In their 10 wins, he's thrown 4 interceptions. In their 2 losses, he's thrown 6. So if he builds pressure up on himself, if it stays close, he's got to stay cool. If you're picking Miami, you're expecting him to stay calm and collected, which he should. He's a veteran, but he hasn't done that consistently in their 2 losses.
Coach, you and your family have been around the game of college football, obviously, a long time. Is there any insight you could offer us into what Ole Miss is going through? Because this situation, it doesn't stop. It keeps compounding, right? More coaches leaving because I feel as if Lane Kiffin was like, I wish him the best, and he never thought it was going to go this well. Maybe he wouldn't have left, quite frankly, if he thought it was going to go this well. What do you make of the situation right now for the current group that is there at Ole Miss?
Well, I think there's 2 points in time. Right when it happened, right as he left and as the postseason began, would they be motivated? Could they remain focused? Would they not be distracted by portal, by NIL, by will I stay, will I go? They've proven that wasn't the case. They beat Tulane easily. They won a huge game, a second game against Georgia. And you know what? At this point, we're not talking about motivation with either team. We're talking about the Final Four teams in the country. We're talking of the national championship. So motivation is of absolutely no key. Now you got to look to can they prepare for the game? They've lost some coaches, their head coach. It looks like they've lost a few more. But I will say this, it's not the same even when I was coaching 3 years ago. And that now you can have as many on-the-field coaches as you want, as many analysts, not only being an analyst, but also an on-the-field coach. So they've got their defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. They've got their offensive coordinator, the 2 most important people, and they've got very qualified guys to fit into the fundamentals of a position coach, which is not a hard thing to do this late in the season. So I think the change-up, it's all over with now. I think the players are motivated. I'd almost think they're more motivated because they want to prove they can do it without Lane Kiffin. But I think that part they've already proven, and I think the staffing situation, Charlie Weiss and Golding have proven they're more than capable of handling their sides of the ball without head coaching help.
Coach, philosophy-wise, if you're Ole Miss, you're pushing tempo here, especially if you get the ball first. You want to put the pressure on Miami to match you score for score. How do you see the philosophy of Charlie Weiss and on the flip side for Miami?
Yeah, they play best when they play tempo. Just the opposite of Miami. Miami wants to slow it down. You'll watch the receivers at Ole Miss. They'll run the ball back and set it down on the hash. They will get the plays moving quickly, and they will mix the throw and the run together. They cannot depend on Lisi every play. They cannot throw it every play. They've got to run and throw equally right from the scratch. Watch closely. Watch and see how quickly the quarterback gets the ball out of his hands, because when you got a dynamic rush like Miami, the early throws are going to be right out. Catch it, release it. Catch it, release it. That's what he did against Georgia. That's where he's got to do now. You got to be careful, because if Miami tries to mug the receivers, he's the best deep thrower I've seen. He hits his deep balls. He doesn't just throw out there and miss them. He hits his deep balls. But I will say this. He's going to get the ball out of his hands, but when they do force him to scramble, here's the thing that I just don't know the answer to. He scrambles well. He avoids pressure, but Miami can bring heat, speed from both sides. When he runs away from one, he runs into the other. And so that's the one thing I can't say for sure I'm convinced that he can do, but I do feel overall that he's the X factor in this football game.
Coach, I'm not sure if we'll get the opportunity to talk to you tomorrow,
Yeah.
So on the chance that we don't, and if we do, we could obviously, kind of re-rack it, but Indiana and Oregon, a rematch in the Big Ten against 2 teams that had great seasons, but Indiana is chasing an argument for the greatest season in the history of college football, right? I mean, the opportunity is there at their feet. What are the things you're starting to zone in on for that matchup?
Well, I mean, did Indiana just plays their game. Something if you're picking against Indiana at this point, then you must have a gut feel, because everything indicates Indiana plays great defense. They stop the run. They cover the deep ball. They can run. They can throw. The quarterback is exceptional. He throws it probably less than any team that was in the playoffs, but he throws for more touchdowns than any quarterback in the playoffs. And so they are just they check every box. I have a hard time going. They beat Oregon at Oregon, and the only thing I can say is the second time around, it's hard to beat a team twice, and Oregon played them up. I think they were even going into the fourth quarter in their first matchup. So again, I think that was tight. But I can't, with all the things that they do well at Indiana, I'm betting on Kurt Cignetti and his staff and the way he has them so fundamentally sound. They play great football at every phase of the game.
To follow up on that, Coach, of the two teams playing tonight, then, which do you think would present a tougher challenge if it is the Indiana Hoosiers on the other side of that national championship game?
You know what? I think I'm going to take Ole Miss because I think they're the hottest team, and they've got a quarterback that can make things happen. They've got skill at wide receiver. They can have one-play explosive drives. They've got a running back that can go. Defense is not as good as we would think, but I think they have a chance at Ole Miss to score with Indiana. Indiana would score against Ole Miss, but I'm picking Ole Miss to be in the championship. Indiana has a chance to score with Ole Miss. I still would probably will not go against Indiana even in that game, but I love to see an explosive football game, Ole Miss, Indiana, and even in that one, I would have to say you'd have to go with Indiana unless you're just a guy that's stuck on finding an upset.
Well, listen, sometimes we do get there, Coach. Sometimes we are rooting in we are rooting in an upset or maybe, a little preseason action on the Ole Miss Rebs. Coach, we appreciate it as always. Enjoy these games tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you, man.
Incredible as always from Coach Bowden. Look, it's going to be a lot of fun, not just tonight, Joe, but tomorrow. The college football playoff, historically not very close, but we're expecting two good games.
Yeah, we'll have the Big Ten already in one, right, depending upon who wins. But four teams that I think, are new, and it's not the Blue Bloods anymore.
Yeah, we're going to stay in Miami, but take it to the pro game. Did the Dolphins make the right decision? Talk about it next. Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brunson doing his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Time Decisions is back right here on SportsGrid. Joe, I want to talk a little NFL with you. Of course, Joe and I will be live on Pro Football Today on Sunday, going through the wild card round. We'll talk tomorrow a little bit about some of the early wild card action, but the head coach news is flying fast and furious. And Joe Lisi, famously a Miami Dolphin fan. Okay.
All right. Okay.
I've never once seen you root him in. Not once.
Listen, I'll be honest.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Go ahead.
A Dolphin fan my whole life.
Sure.
In this industry, I don't have one favorite.
You're one of those guys.
My allegiance is to whatever team puts money in my pocket. I'm sorry.
I understand that.
I'm not a rah-rah guy anymore. So, yes, I do like the Dolphins. If they got into the playoffs, I would be happy and I would root them in. But I just don't like Mike McDaniel as coach. He deserved to be fired. I'm so happy they made the right choice. Maybe they could get back to respectability and actually win a playoff game for the first time since 2000. And you want to anoint them as the smartest guy in the room. Don't be an owner, because I tell you, these guys would be stealing a paycheck on you.
Oh, no, I would be cruising while you probably have.
You wanted to give McDaniel. I sat on this desk.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was on GameTime or on Pro Football Today.
Right.
You wanted to give him a 10-year contract.
100%.
Yeah, okay.
And still would.
All right.
And still would. Well, let's take a look.
Vape boy, look at him. That dumb look on his face.
Well, let's take a look. So Mike McDaniel comes in.
Yeah.
And it is his responsibility to put Tua Tagovailoa in a position to look like the franchise quarterback that they drafted him to be at 5th overall.
Okay.
After the relationship that Tua had with Brian Flores. By the way.
That was his sole job. That was his only job, was to get to an elite level. That was it. It wasn't winning games. They're supposed
to go hand in hand. Supposed to go hand in hand,
really?
right?
Okay.
You get the quarterback to the level, and then you win games, right?
Okay.
So the first year, they get to the playoffs. They're above 500. Tua doesn't play in the playoff game.
Skylar Thompson did.
Right.
They
nearly upset Buffalo.
Right.
The next year, Tua leads the NFL in passing yards, flirts with an MVP award. They win double-digit games, but they lose in round number 1 to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
And then last year, and they had Tua injured for about half the season, or the strong middle part. It wasn't enough to salvage the year. They go a tick under 500. And people had started to wonder what would be the first shoe to drop, McDaniel or Tua. Not many people thought Tua, though, because the dead cap that you'll be staring at if you move off of Tua would be historic, so you may have to burn through another coach to get somebody to fix Tua. And this team in the Miami Dolphins come out and they look lifeless. Tua's never looked worse. Tyreek gets injured. They're a 1-6 team. And Mike McDaniel galvanizes the troops and turns this thing around. They play over 500 football the rest of the way, and Tua Tagovailoa will be off the Dolphins now, to which he, by the way, said is, quote, dope. Maybe the worst franchise quarterback decision we've ever seen a team make is the Dolphins going with Tua. We all know Mike McDaniel can coach offense. Everybody's well aware of that. We know the quarterback is absolutely not an option to move forward with. So why are you getting rid of the head coach? A coach who, by the way, can name his spot as offensive coordinator.
Good for him.
And likely will get looks as a head coach.
That's great. You want to see he's a great OC, that's fine. I'm not going to argue that. He's got somewhat of a good offensive mind. That's fine. He's a gutless head coach. His teams play with no intensity. The defense absolutely is atrocious. They can't stop a high school offense in a big spot. That is the bottom line. And the teams that he, supposedly beat, all right, they beat the Falcons. All right, Falcons were trending with another gutless head coach in Raheem Morris. They beat the Commanders. Wow, the Commanders. Okay, the Saints.
Thought he win overseas.
The Jets.
Got him up.
The Buccaneers.
Gets him up. Oh, your favorite. You love Tampa Bay.
Under 500. The only one is the Bills, and we'll blame that on Josh Allen.
We beat Buffalo.
The hangover.
Oh, big bad Buffalo. We smashed that team.
Smashed by the Bengals, 45-21.
Joe Burrow was throwing lasers. Quinn Ewers first game.
By the Steelers, 28-15.
Defense didn't step up.
Smashed by the Ravens, 28-6.
Lamar was hot.
Smashed by the Browns.
Oh, now you're getting back into a part of the calendar we don't acknowledge. That was 1-6. That was before the turnaround.
Yeah, give him 50 years. Give him a lifetime contract.
Well, I just don't understand. All anybody hires is hot offensive coordinators. You have one in the building.
No. He's not a hot offensive coordinator. Okay.
He will be the second you get rid of him, which you did.
Here's the problem. When Tua goes down, he showed you his worth. He couldn't get the football to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Oh, guys that are backing up to I'm sorry that he couldn't win with Skylar Thompson and Zach Wilson and Braxton Berrios.
Snoop.
Right, okay. Yeah, sure. Snoop Huntley for a
guru.
2 weeks.
He's a wizard.
Off the practice squad.
Pinball wizard, Mike McDaniel.
This is now probably the worst job opening in football.
No, it's not.
It's a terrible job.
Okay, terrible job.
It's a terrible job.
Why is it a terrible job?
No cap space, no quarterback.
It's all right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Harbaugh won't look twice at this thing.
Harbaugh's going to the Giants. Don't worry.
Okay, next up. So who do you want?
Listen, we're probably going to get Miami will probably either get. I think Stefanski could do a good job there.
Sure, but he's not coming.
I think Kingsbury would do a good job there.
No, Kingsbury's terrible.
He's better than McDaniel.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Based on what?
Just based on
he was
McDaniel.
a worse head coach, worse offensive coordinator.
I know, and I still would take him over McDaniel. I think McDaniel's
that bad. Yeah, because Kingsbury won you a couple dollars and let Jaden Daniels have a good rookie season.
Look.
And how'd that work out
Here's the thing. McDaniel has not done anything. And you're the guy.
What are you talking about?
He hasn't done anything.
He's had 4 years. He's made the playoffs in 50% of them.
So what?
That's a good hit rate in 4 years.
With the hit rate, we're regressing.
No, you started 1-6 and then you were progressing. A 7-10 record, me oh my. And you tanked the last game.
Come on.
So they ripped them off. They went 6-3 over the last 9 that counted. Oh, Gutty.
Yeah.
You, Tua, and Cliff Kingsbury next year. Gonna be some show.
I would take him in a
next
heartbeat.
year, Lisi. I like Detroit. New offensive coordinator. Hey, guys. We'll be right back. OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brunson doing his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, back to the right here on SportsGrid Game Time Decisions. Let's put some best bets on the board here. Talk a little bit about this slate tonight here. Lisi, why don't you bat leadoff for the people? Did you make the graphic? Oh, he gets his own graphic.
Wow,
Superstar.
look at this. Nice. C.J.
Superstar.
Daniels, anytime touchdown. I think he stepped up with 49 receiving yards in the win over Ohio State. I think he could step up for the end zone while everybody's looking at Malachi Toney.
Yep.
C.J. Daniels, I think, is the X factor.
I agree. I couldn't imagine betting Malachi Toney in a game like this. I think all the oh, wait, what? Yep, you're right. Best bet tonight, Malachi Toney, 60+. Big spot, big game, big players step up and do big things. -114 for 60+ is light. This feels like a Malachi Toney 100+ game. So we will be involved in Malachi Toney props in this matchup. You all right with that?
Hey, that's fine. Yeah. I feel good now.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Interesting.
C.J. Daniels. Now, I do feel that Chambliss will distribute the football to a multitude of receivers tonight. I like Caden Lee anytime touchdown.
I don't mind that look. I don't mind
Caden
that
Lee,
look.
4-1.
AJ is on Ole Miss +3.5. Chris on Ole Miss money line. How do you feel about that?
Not bad. Look, if you like Ole Miss, you got to believe that they can win it. I don't think they lose it by 3. I think it's either a blowout, either way.
Yep.
So I think Ole Miss is going to be in this game from start to finish, if you ask me, and I think they pull it out.
Now, one more best bet.
Okay.
Hashtag here he goes again. South Dakota State, Denver in the Summit League. Yarnell likes the under $162.
All right. Okay.
Do you want to take the over?
Do you want to just?
You want to just take this over? Honestly, just come on. 162. This game probably flies over.
He's trying to be a real wheel on this show.
What do you want to pair it with? Someone to score this weekend?
When does Kentucky play over the weekend?
Kentucky College Hoops? They lost yesterday.
Good.
You like them now even a little more?
Yeah. Do they play over the weekend?
Yeah, probably. I don't think there's going to be an early line now.
They're 0-2 in the SEC. Just tell me who they play. I'll tell you.
Miss State at home.
See, now Miss State typically plays them well in Stark Vegas. This should be a smash job.
Okay, so early look.
So I'm gonna lay the line. Kentucky -8.5.
All right. How about Not bad. I'll let you know what it is.
All right.
You want to take this South Dakota State Denver over with
Sure.
like Ted McMillan receiving yards or something?
How about we take it with Toney and Daniels receiving yards?
Not bad. Okay, now we can get you in on this, Tony.
Maybe we should just take Carson Beck over to the 226, which I think is high. Carson Beck over 226. It's odd.
Come on.
Chambliss could throw for 350 tonight.
So which quarterback do you like to throw?
Look, Ole Miss has no shot to get. I believe they need Chambliss to be around his average, which is 267 in this game.
Yeah.
267, 300. They're good. They should be pushing tempo all game long.
We'll get to some specials in a little bit here. Really trying to force my hand. We got plenty of time, people.
What do you got? Specials?
Yeah, what do you like in this NBA tonight? Nothing? Jazz Mavs interesting to you at all?
Javs Mavs. Nah, I'll tell you what I like.
What do you like Cooper's flag?
No, I'll tell you. No, the Cooper flag, let me tell you, kid doesn't shoot threes. He doesn't. 1 3 a game, and he shuts off after 15 points. How this kid was taken #1 overall is honestly like, the bright lights are too big for him. That's what I see right now. I mean, really. Not talk about getting acclimated. The kid's terrible. He's horrible. I haven't seen the kid step up yet. Maybe it's all the games I bet on him, but I'm just saying.
Just quickly, as you look for more picks so everybody knows.
I'll give you one.
Cooper scored 20 his last game, but the 3 prior had 15, 12, and 10. Which games do you think Lisi was betting?
Ready? Tyler Hero. Hey, Hero. 4 threes at +310 tonight. In Chicago. Hero.
Can I tell everybody a story quickly? It's quick.
Hey, Hero.
It's quick so they can't indict us. We went out to the Super Bowl one year, Las Vegas, so everyone's just betting games, right? Who do you think Joe Lisi's favorite guy to bet on that NBA season was on the Miami Heat? Without fail, Terry Rozier was selling games down the river, and he was Lisi's key guy on a nightly basis. Rozier
was on the take. Guy was on the take. I knew it. I saw it.
And you kept betting him, though.
Human
One
indicator.
of these nights he won't be on the take.
Unbelievable. He was robbing paychecks there.
He owes you a couple dollars.
He does.
He owes you a couple dollars.
He's lucky he doesn't see me in the casino.
All right, we'll talk some college football playoff specials after the break here on SportsGrid. Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brown to do his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
I got to say, people, I love to see the reactions to Joe Lisi being here. A lot of people are excited. Some picks have been sent in, trying to get you on some hockey.
Hockey?
You like each team to score 2 goals on this slate, 50-1?
Each team?
For 2 goals.
It's
a lot. It's 100-1 if you click through, but it's 50 if you just take the special. You get half the price for half the work.
Yeah, let me look at this slate.
You like each game for 4 goals, 3-1? Yeah.
Each game for 4 goals.
3-1. I know.
There's a full slate tonight. Nah, that's crazy.
Hey, let's see. Any team to record 50 shots on goal, 16-1?
50?
I don't know. Is that a lot? What do I know?
That is a lot in hockey. What are you kidding?
Any team to record 15-plus shots on goal in each period, 18-1. Any team to record 17-plus shots on goal in each period, 17-1. What am I missing? What am I missing there?
I lost you after the first goal.
Well, I've got these puck drop specials. Any team to record 15-plus shots on goal in each period pays out better than any team.
See, I always 17. Like a goalie with a great butterfly. That could really cover the net. You know what I'm saying? Look at a butterfly. He's like a spider.
Yeah.
Look at him.
I know, that's good. That's a great point.
I'll give you a hockey pick. I mean, I used to be called Mr. Hockey on a show I used to do.
Really?
The hockey guy.
Really?
The hockey guy had to give way to the hockey guy. Because I was so I picked Florida to win the East a couple of years ago.
You like 89 goals to be scored on this slate, 10-1? How many games on the ice are there tonight?
A lot.
Can somebody count them up, please, in the back? Someone do something. Let's see. Let's get some work here. 77 is even money. You like 77 goals on this? 12 games.
That's basically almost
6-ish goals.
7. Almost, yeah, it's 6.
There he goes.
I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah.
Kev, that's tough. I'll just go with this.
What are you going to take?
You ready?
Wait, you made something?
No, I'll give you a pick.
Okay, go ahead.
Devils looked terrible the other night.
Okay.
Horrible. Now they go on the road to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Plus 1.5 is minus 265. I think they win it. Minus 108
Okay, you like the Devils.
on the road.
You like the Devils on the road.
Yeah.
All right.
Hearing a lot of people. Let's get rid of the GM. Let's get rid of this guy.
Come on.
Let's
You're
just
hearing
do
a
it.
lot of people?
I'm hearing a lot of people. A lot of people talking.
This Predators Islanders game probably goes
I'll
up
give
there.
you a total. You want a total?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Something that sticks out. You
Yeah.
ready?
What do you got for me?
Like the over 6.5 Canucks Red Wings.
All right, we'll put it in our back pocket.
All right, keep
College football playoff semifinal specials. You ready?
Yeah.
Each team for one rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown, plus 430.
Like it.
Who do you worry the most about there?
Miami.
Interesting. Okay. People will probably think this game is the hard part done. Each team to record 100+ rushing yards is interesting.
Yeah, but you got to deal with sacks in these games.
Down to plus 360. That's true.
I don't like it. Not worth it.
I don't mind it because I think tomorrow both teams are going to be interested in trying to see if the run games can get going.
I agree.
I think Oregon really is hoping their run game can work.
I like Oregon a lot tomorrow.
I'm starting to lean. I actually think the game could be so close that Indiana wins and Oregon covers. I know that sounds silly to people, but
all right.
I think it's a nip and tuck.
All right. So what else? You get roll out specials.
All right. Let's see. We got a couple of good ones.
What do you have?
Each team for 2 rushing touchdowns, 27-1.
Each team for that's tough. Ole Miss might not run. I mean, Lacey might get 1, and that might be it.
You like each team to throw 2 plus 650?
What is it?
Each team for 2 receiving touchdowns plus 650.
Yeah, because the game that's I know.
See, I think the rushing.
I think tomorrow night's game. I think they'll utilize the rush, but I think they're going to throw it.
Each team for a rushing touchdown at plus 190. I know we're talking, that's small, but let me ask you this. Can you give me so you lean Ole Miss. What do you think Miami scores tonight, ballpark?
20.
Great. So multiple touchdowns, right?
Yeah, 2.
And then tomorrow, you're leaning towards Oregon. We'll get into the game tomorrow. But, like, Indiana scores what? Ballpark.
I think 24.
Great. My point is, then, you're expecting multiple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be 14-10. I don't think it's going to be like that.
But that's probably how it beats you, right? I mean, these teams, the college football, they love handing the ball off inside the 5.
What beats you is that we just have a passing frenzy, and they don't run at all.
Uh-huh.
Or they run between the 30s, and every red zone opportunity is a passing touchdown. And that's how you get screwed in those type of situations.
Yeah.
I actually think Ole Miss is going to dictate the tempo. But, again, if Miami dictates the tempo, you might have a lower scoring game.
That's true.
Which then handcuffs Chambliss and limited opportunities. It's going to come down to whether Miami believes from an offensive perspective they've played lower scoring games, right?
Yeah.
But do they feel they can dictate the tempo against Ole Miss? Do they feel their offense is okay where if this game starts to slip 10, 14, that they're just going to rely on Carson back in the passing attack?
Right.
Because if that's the case, then I think the rushing could hurt you in that game.
That's interesting. It's interesting.
Because Miami, to me, is going to come out. They're going to want the ball. I would think they want the ball first. They want to establish the run.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting. I think they'll defer.
And again, I know that this is the wave of the future. If I'm Ole Miss and I have this kid chucking the way he is now, I win the toss, I am not waiting till the second half. I want to get on the field as quick as possible. I want to be rolling sevens. I want to know if they're dialed in, and if he's not, at least I have a series under my belt to get it right. I am not deferring and allowing Miami to dictate the tempo in this type of matchup. I am not allowing them to play their style of game, get the football first, drive 6 or 7 minutes, kick a field goal or a punt, and get into this ugly scoring game. Why coaches decide to defer? Because by that time, the game might be signed, sealed, and delivered already.
Yeah.
I don't know why analytics say, please, save me the. If you're up 28-0 at the first half, what do the analytics say then?
No, it's interesting.
They only look at it one way.
I don't know. I think both teams would probably. So
What's the purpose? We want to feel it out. Feel out what?
Well,
I have a guy that's throwing for 350 yards per game.
Well, it's because you can use the clock to get a stop, right?
What do you mean?
Like, if I get the football.
Yeah.
And then you get the football.
Yeah.
And then I get the football, right?
Yeah.
And then by the time you get it back, there's limited time on the clock. That worked in my advantage.
Why? Is that the way Ole Miss wants to play?
If it happened to go that way.
No, but they don't.
But I wasn't going to do it like 9 times.
But my point is, they run the fastest tempo out of any team, basically, in FBS. Why do I want to waste or look at the first possession as no points?
It's not about it being no points. I think it's just about being able to start the second half with the football.
Yeah, but if you're down 17, does it really matter at that point?
Actually, if I'm down 17, I want to be starting with the football.
My point is this. They don't look at it as if they're up by 17 and a half. They always look at it if they're down.
I'd love to start with the football,
I'm down.
Too. I'd love to start the second half.
You know, you're part of the problem.
Interesting. We'll be right back on SportsGrid. OK Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not going to happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brown to do his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Luke, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions live right here on SportsGrid. We'll get you set. Best bets, Ole Miss, Miami. In-game live coverage begins in 15 minutes' time with Gabe and Scott. So make sure you are right here on SportsGrid. Joe, I want to actually take an opportunity to talk about the college football championship game hypothetical lines.
Yeah.
Just get a sense of if you think they're a little off. If you,
I know what they are.
No,
so
yeah. So I want to start. We're just going to go in order, not playing any hand to. So if Indiana meets Miami, that line right now projects to be 55.5 with a total of 44.5. What stands out to you in that respect?
55.5.
I'm sorry, 5.5 point spread, 44.5 total.
Right.
Excuse me.
That's about right. I mean, again, I think because again, styles make fights.
Mm-hmm.
So Miami wants to play bully ball. That goes right into the strength of what Indiana does.
Yeah.
Right. Indiana, I think, would push them around. I do. I think in that matchup, it would be a dead under.
Right.
It would be a 21-10 game, I think, an ugly type of game. Not very good, I think, for ratings. I think it would be ugly. I mean, ratings, they tune in, obviously, Indiana and Miami backers. But my point is, from a football, it would be just ugly. It would be ugly.
I think what you saw in the Big Ten title game where Ohio State was like, oh, cool, we'll play like smash mouth football with, again, just Ryan. Oh, that whole team was so clueless in that game. You've never seen anything like it.
It would be.
Like they're just wasting Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. I know people don't love Julian Sayin, but that team needed to be pass. In their 2nd and 10 run, it's awful.
Right.
I think Miami coming out with that game plan, Joe, I tend to agree, could lead to a smash. But from a number perspective, I think it is very on the board. Not that this is what I'm projecting, but if Indiana is dominant against Oregon,
that line would be 6.5.
It could be a touchdown. Because what we've seen from the nature of the college football playoff is sometimes one team just emerges as the best. Remember last year, Ohio State ended up laying a monster number to Texas that we never thought was going to be and they ended up, covering due to the Quinn Ewers couldn't get it in, right? And then they laid another big number to Notre Dame, so it goes on and on and on. With that said, Indiana Ole Miss is right now 7.5.
I would want to see that game more than anything else, even though I'm picking Oregon. But I'm saying because it's such a contrast.
I think that Ole Miss could drop that under a touchdown, if that makes sense.
Depending upon what they do tonight.
I don't think Indiana's going to be like 10.
No.
In the championship.
No, here's the thing. It all depends on if Ole Miss puts up 30+ and wins tonight.
Right.
They're not going to be catching 7.5. You're best off to catch the 7.5 now and see if you can get it.
If that's the game.
That's the game. I mean, the bottom line is this: Big Ten is going to be favorite no matter who is in the big.
That's true.
In the championship game. I think the most wide open game, the game that would have the most fireworks, would probably be Oregon Ole Miss, and that game is what I'm basically picking. I think that total could be in the 60s.
So the game total is 53.5. So they agree with you because that is the highest total of the bunch. It's 4 points higher than Ole Miss, Indiana. It's a touchdown higher than Oregon, Miami, and it's almost 10 points higher than the Indiana, Miami.
We would have a lot of opportunity to make a killing in the prop market.
I think
it would be.
But the trickiness, Joe, with Oregon from a props perspective.
Yeah.
Is it's a gazillion guys.
It doesn't matter, though, Kev. It still gives us...
I mean, you're right about...
Sadiq, Whittington, Davison...
Ja'Cory Moore.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm just saying... Hill. It's
combined, we can
Malik
get
Benson.
700 yards for Moore and Chambliss with 8 touchdowns each. I mean, total. I'm just saying.
I hear you.
I mean, that's... What a 70 number on that?
But I would say, though, Joe, for me...
For props, if you're a props backer, you're rooting for Ole Miss, Oregon.
The thing, though, Joe, that is interesting, the projected number that I would say I maybe disagree with the most is the Oregon Ole Miss number.
2.5?
4.5. I don't think Oregon beating Indiana, Obviously, Oregon will be booked as a favorite. They will elevate due to that victory. But I don't think it all of a sudden makes people go, oh, Oregon's the best team in college football. I think Ole Miss, if they get there, already upsetting a 3.5-point number tonight. The Lane Kiffin stuff is gone. I also will say this, Joe. I think Ole Miss will become the public team.
Yeah, of course.
If they're in the championship game against Oregon.
I mean, it would be a huge story to see Lane Kiffin bolt for $91 million and his team win the national championship, or at least get there.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. And we talk about it. I mean, going to LSU to win a national championship. You had your chance to win a national. I mean, you can't tell me without him that this team being in the Final Four doesn't give you an opportunity to win a national championship. I'm just saying. Same conference.
Well, Joe, I mean, think about it like this. How many years will it take him at LSU to get as far as Ole Miss is right now? They're in the semifinal.
They have no quarterback right now. You got to tell
them. They're in a legal battle.
Are they going to get Damon Williams? It looks like Damon just came out. I don't want Damon Williams. I like Damon. Nice player. I would much rather take Sam Levitt over Damon Williams. I know that sounds crazy. Damon Williams.
Not for the listen, people I think maybe actually agree with you. Not for Lane Kiffin. Damon Williams, that athleticism.
Yeah, but Damon is not big. He's not tall. He's not Chambliss size.
He doesn't.
Damon Williams is about 6 foot, if that.
He doesn't. I don't think he needs to be huge. I think he needs to be dynamic.
But I love Damon Williams. He cost me some money against Maryland. But, in road environments, he was not good. He was not good in road environments. Look at the road splits.
Yeah, but I think a lot of that, Joe, but that's the Big Ten. The Big Ten now is just basically built. East Coast teams going west, smash. West Coast teams going east, smash. I don't know when that's not going to be the case. I think he'd have top 5 Heisman odds at LSU. I really believe that. Let's button it up here. College football playoff semifinal. Okay, Dubs has to go back to his roots. I'm not a Jets fan, I'm not a Giants fan, and neither one of those teams even play in New York. But I'm a New Yorker through and through, despite where my mail gets sent. And I will not stand for the Jets to be dragged through the mud in this way. Not gonna happen. So Dante Moore, if you do leave, you should be so lucky to fly the plane.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Who are we looking at? We're looking at SGA because of his availability and consistency. It's Jalen Brown to do his usage and his leadership. It's Jaylen Brown for how they're playing. It's Cade Cunningham because Detroit's in the top of the East. The MVP talk is going to be wild, and it'll be interesting to watch. MVPs just don't dominate. They survive the season.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Maybe the fact was that the kicker just blew a 44-yard field goal. Now, by the way, I feel horrible for this kid, Tyler Loop, who made every single field goal this season 44 yards or less. But the extra point that was missed just before that by Chris Boswell was the only extra point that he missed all season long. So did they bless that same holy water when Boswell missed the extra point? Come on, guys. Let's get it.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Steelers get their touchdown, and they miss the extra point. It was Lamar Jackson who made the plays to get the Ravens into what should have been easy field goal territory. So explain to me how in the world we can look at last night's game as, well, there you go, can't trust Lamar Jackson.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
All right, guys, let's get ready here. Game time decisions, college football playoff semifinal matchup with Miami and Ole Miss. Looking around right now at your spreads here, Joe. The 3.5s, you can find a -120, it looks like. Let me make sure that's the case here on FD. Still is. And everywhere else, we're going with a flat 3. I played Ole Miss tonight at +3.5. Now, I have an Ole Miss future from the beginning of the year. I like Lane Kiffin. I liked Austin Simmons. Neither one of them are relevant to this football game yet. The ticket still stands all the same. A 50-1 shot. Please don't ask me if they were the only team I bet. I would not like to talk about the team at the top of that board that I thought would be here and in the mix. But, you know this about me. Just because I have an Ole Miss ticket, I'm not as inclined to bet Ole Miss in the game. Like, I'll do my ticket in. I truly believe the wrong team is favored. I think Ole Miss is the better football team. I think Miami has been pumped up too much because they beat Ohio State versus Ole Miss not being pumped up enough for beating Georgia. I bet +3.5 on Ole Miss. I believe they win this football game.
I do as well. I like their speed. I like the quarterback, and that's what it's coming down to for me. Chambliss over Carson Beck. I know Miami has the defense, but again, tempo could wear down that defense early and often in this game. Again, it's going to come down to is the quarterback-wide receiver relationship there early on? I think it will be. I think it'll carry through from what we saw in the Georgia game. He's been now really good in 2 back-to-back games, and Carson Beck hasn't. Carson Beck has relied on the rushing attack and the defense to carry them. He's going to have to do a much bigger role in this offense tonight, and that's why I lean to Ole Miss. The over, I do think we get there. I think Ole Miss is the one pushing the tempo, and I don't see Ole Miss being held under 24 to 28 in this game. I think they're going to get 28 to 30, and that'll push us over.
Yeah, I think the total's close. I think this is 28-23, 31-23 Ole Miss, so it's right on the number. I'm not playing the total. We'll maybe look for it live.
You know, Austin Simmons transferred out already.
No, that was my point.
Right, yeah.
I know. Yeah, like
I know.
Preseason, I'm like, this Rebs team, I think Simmons is a gamer. Kiffin's a good mastermind. And we're like, yeah, Pete Golden and Trinidad Chambliss. Like, that's, I'm like, I called
Ferris State.
Called it, told everybody. You know, like, the thing is, it's just Ole Miss had a great number and a great path to make the playoff, I really believed, and that certainly bared out. But I really believe that the wrong team is actually favored in this football game. Props-wise, Joe, what are you going to play here?
I'm on C.J. Daniels for the Miami side. Took him up to 50+. I think at +116 for a 50 spot. Yeah. Anytime touchdown, +155. I spread it across on the Ole Miss side. I do believe Stripling does step up 2-1 shot. I did take a shot on Wright, the tight end, as well to score. He's +320 or in the area of 4-1. Took his yards 30+, and I still have more to go. I mean, something just tells me as this game progresses, if we get a scoreless 8 minutes, I hope not. But if we do get a scoreless 8 minutes, I'm going to jump in on the total. Okay. If this total is anywhere in the 40s, I'm going to jump on it.
Fair enough. For me, I love the opportunity to bet Malachi Toney for 60+ yards in this game. I believe that Malachi Toney had one of the most impressive freshman wide receiver seasons we have seen, and I am well aware that literally last year we watched Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams. Malachi Toney feels it. Man, we say this sometimes and we shouldn't. He feels like Tyreek Hill, and he is a dynamic. He is so dynamic. We're used to dynamic wide receivers demanding end arounds. He demands pass opportunities. They're like, no, you can play quarterback multiple times a game. Malachi Toney in his last 2 games has caught 10 passes for 38 yards. This is a wide receiver who is more a 15 yards a catch guy. So to me, I think the opportunity to get a 5-catch, 100-yard game from Toney is absolutely in range. I think the chance to get a 3-catch, 70-yard game is on the board tonight for Malachi Toney. I like him for 60+. Chris is on Ole Miss money line. AJ's on Ole Miss +3.5. And Yarnell bet Denver, South Dakota State under 162.
That's great. Let's just take the over. Let's take the over. I like Ole Miss. I like the over. I told you, on the Miami side, I am taking Daniels. But Stribling to me tonight is the receiver.
Yeah.
For I know Wallace pushed the tempo and had a dynamic day, but Stribling to me is the guy.
Is there one thing you didn't bet you were looking at, you were thinking about?
Would be the Keywan Lacey numbers. But even receiving, I think Lacey receiving could be interesting.
His numbers just shade so much towards Miami. I think they're interesting. Can't wait to watch it play out. In Game Live has you covered. Next, here on SportsGrid.